fuck?
Hello. Karthik, that was completely uncalled for.
Right.
Not needed in this family show.
I'd just like to explain for everyone watching. First of all, hello, welcome to the podcast. Before we started, Joe literally went,
never did this.
Go, have fun with it, be as abusive as possible. So I went, you know what, I'm just going to start with a big old swear word right at the start.
That is the complete opposite to what I said. I said, guys, we're having a rigid show. We're sticking to the points, and definitely no swearing. No swearing whatsoever. So Karthik, being the bad boy of the group, decided to just hit us with a bang.
No time wasted.
Temi, if Karthik's the bad boy of this group and this boy band, I think Temi's the one that everyone wants to bring back to their mothers. That's it. No. The mammies love Temi.
Just scratch. Just be the, you know.
But and as me, I am the leader, which means I get no one but all the paperwork. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here on the very first All For United podcast. I'm your host, Joe O'Neill. I am absolutely overwhelmed and delighted to be welcomed by the two most wonderful people in the world. If they could make it here, it would have been great, but unfortunately, we're stuck with Temi and Karthik.
Hey, Joe is funny. Good. Joe is funny.
Yeah. Temi, my man, how are you keeping today? What time is it in Maryland?
It is 3 right now. So right around the end of work, excited to talk about all the things that are going on this week, man. We have a big topic to discuss. So
yeah,
you already know I'm ready.
We're ready. Karthik, are you ready?
I am very ready, mate. I'm always ready.
I am somewhat ready, if I'm being honest, because I am, after coming back, I know I mention this every so often, but I am Irish. And being Irish, I support my country, which is Ireland. And they just make me miserable so often. But, it's worse. It's like having a child that is just trying their best, but is still stupid.
I was that child.
Yeah, that's why I knew you could relate. But, I love them, and I'm like, I can see you're doing your best, but just stop being shit, please, okay? Stop being shit. And we have a manager in who's trying to change the ethos of the entire Irish culture, okay? Look, Temi, I'm
a U.S. soccer fan. I'm a U.S. soccer fan, so hey, you've got nothing to complain about.
No, Temi, you've got Christian Pulisic, while my country people still want James McLean to be in the starting lineup. Okay, there's a difference between having a player that's worth 60 million and one that I could literally buy from the change on my couch cushion. Okay,
we got a couple good players in the U.S. squad now. So
yeah,
stay tuned.
do you? For you.
Tuned.
Okay,
stay tuned.
Yeah, we are going to stay tuned. Okay, but since we are here, we'll stop talking about how miserable my country is, and we'll instead talk about how miserable Paul Scholes is. Well, depending what your perspective is on it. This one is odd for me, if I'm being honest, because I don't. Okay, I'm going to put it out to you guys first. What are your initial thoughts? I'll get up the what he said for anyone who missed it. Okay, Scholes came out the other day and said, I have it here as the good host that I am. If I could find it. It comes prepared as always. I have my condom. Where is it's all kind of broken up here. Basically what Scholes is saying is
I can read it. I can read it. If
you have it there, okay. Thank you, Temi.
Yeah, I'm just gonna so Scholes he said the problem with MUFC's or United's forwards is that none of them is an actual center forward. Martial almost conned us into thinking he was one at the end of last season because he scored so many goals and was quite good.
Okay. And guys, I should have said this in the comments. Please give your thoughts as we're going on our ramble here, and make sure to like and subscribe to the page. But what are your guys' initial thoughts on what Scholes said? I know, Temi, you're a huge Martial fan, unless you're lying on Twitter constantly. Yes. So what? Yeah. So what do you think?
So first of all, before I even get into what my thoughts on his comments were, I just want to say, anyone who's watched Paul Scholes, you can make an argument that he's the greatest central midfielder that's ever touched earth. There's a strong argument to say that what he's accomplished in terms of titles, the way he played. He stayed in Manchester United his whole career. If he went to Barcelona, Madrid, he would have been starting in every single team pretty much throughout his career. That's how good he was. That
I
being
sense
said,
a but. Yeah.
that being said,
Just a fancy
how the hell could you ever say that Martial conned us into thinking he was a number 9? What type of stupidity? What would incite something like that when we just let in 6 goals against Spurs? Jose Mourinho's Spurs. What would incite that? It just doesn't make any sense to me. This kid, we bought him for, what was it, 48 million pounds?
about 50.
So
36,
about 50?
Yeah, 36 initial to go up to like 56.
Yeah. So let's just say 50 million. Let's just say 50 million pounds. He scored over 50 goals so far. Last year he had his this past season where he played number 9 pretty much solely. Mind you, he was injured for probably right around 3 months of the season. He scores 23 goals in all competitions. I think it's 9 assists in all competition. Didn't take one penalty, or he took one and he missed it. Didn't score any penalties all season. 23 goals. He was playing to start the season. Andreas Pereira was on the right.
Yeah.
In the middle was who were we playing? Who were we playing down the center? So I think, excuse me, Andreas Pereira. The first game of the season, Andreas Pereira started.
Yes.
In the right. Jesse Lingard was either playing central midfield or right. So just think about that.
And just to say, Karthik, also Luke Shaw was playing in that game too.
Luke Shaw playing in that game. Marcus Rashford, who's a very, very good left winger, but what he is not is he doesn't create chances for other people. That's not what he does. That's never been what he's about. He's an inside forward who likes to cut in on his right foot and score goals. And I'm okay with that. But when you have the audacity to say that someone who's so integral to the way we build up, even though I don't think we have a style of play, Martial drops deep, receives the ball, lays it off, looks again, recycles the ball, doesn't make many mistakes, and he's still doing that. He's still dictating the play while scoring a ton of damn goals. This is last year's season was the healthiest he's been in so long. And he still wasn't there for a full season. And he scores 23 goals. We have a terrible start to the season. I think we are almost dead last in big transfers created this season. Let's forget the 6 goals that we just let in. Let's forget the 3 goals we let into Crystal Palace, the 2 goals we let into Brighton.
It's hard to forget that.
We're not creating any chances. We're not creating any chances. So what are you talking about? Talk about the 85 million pound center back we just bought. That is literally awful, not good, not a good center back. Let's talk about. Go ahead.
But Temi, it's like it's not like people haven't been talking about that. Do you know what I mean? Like Scholes, I'm sure.
Are the sorry to cut you off, but are the Manchester United pundits that we see on a daily basis? I'm talking about our club, like our internal system, right? Yeah. Like Gary Neville loves to talk about Martial. I think Robin Van Persie actually loves Martial. Roy Keane talks bad about Martial. I can go down the list of all of these our club legends who are talking about Martial like he's not. If we were to sell Martial today, we would get probably double the money that we invested in him. That's how good he is. Because everyone across the country, he's starting for France right now. He's starting for France right now as we speak. That's how good he is. Like,
okay.
It doesn't make any sense. I think there's bigger problems than Anthony Martial not scoring in the first 3 games of the season.
Okay, thank you for being as reserved as always, Temi. Karthik, I want to come to you before I play devil's advocate. What are your thoughts on the comments?
First of all, I think I love Scholesy, but I don't know what he's on about here. I think it's a weird time for him to be commenting on players, especially when he's just been given a job that he probably doesn't deserve in the Salford job.
Doesn't.
So he's putting his neck out on the line straight away by talking, especially after what he did at Oldham, where he was there for about a couple of weeks or whatever it was, and then he decided it wasn't for him. So first of all, he should not be speaking in the press about other teams' players because that's not what a manager does. Second of all, what he's saying about Martial is very strange because, first of all, I'll say, yes, okay, so maybe Martial wasn't the perfect number 9 before last season. Maybe he wasn't displaying those kind of characteristics because he was being played out of position, played in different systems, whatever it could be. And then you could make the argument that maybe Solskjaer had a little bit of doubts with him because Obviously, we were linked with Erling Haaland when he became available. We tried to get Igalo, then we eventually ended up getting Cavani. So maybe he wants a backup for Martial who can add something that maybe Martial doesn't do, or maybe he just doesn't believe in him. I don't know. Whatever you want to think, let that be. But last season, Anthony Martial fundamentally changed what people think about him as a striker. Because before then, we all thought of Anthony Martial as coming off the left, curled shot into the top corner. That was an Anthony Martial goal. If you asked me what a Martial goal was a year ago, I'd have described that. However, last season, he changed his game completely. And that is down to the manager, because the manager wanted him to make changes to his game. What has he done? He's improved his hold-up play, because now he's not just sitting on the shoulder of a defender. He's not just waiting for the ball to come up. He's getting involved in the build-up play. You can talk about Roberto Firmino and what he does for Liverpool, but because we're not winning league titles, Martial will not be recognised for what he's doing off the ball and in the build-up. So that's number one. Number two, when he receives it, he's looking to play in his teammates who are running off him. That's usually Marcus Rashford or whoever the fuck our right winger is, because it'll be you next week on the right wing, Joe. So whoever's running off the right side, it's those two, and he's playing them in, and he's got assists. Let's not forget. Wasn't he and Rashford the joint number of total assists?
12 assists each. Yeah, 12.
Well, there you go. So he's assisting goals as well, and that is what a number 9 does. So Scholes, I love you, mate, but you're chatting a bit of shit.
Yeah, I would say, I think for me, even to play a little bit devil's advocate, I think there is some legitimacy in what Scholes is saying. I think he's being incredibly harsh, and I'm hoping that he's kind of been taken out of context, because it's not like this is being directly taken from an article he's written or whatever. But he's been quoted saying it, so we don't know in what way he said it. Do you know what I mean? It could all be.
How else do you say conned? Is there? What's the synonym to conned?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I understand that. I do. I completely understand that. But if you look at his record, like prior to last season, okay, it was absolutely miserable. Other than his opening season with us, when he was playing that position, and I get it that he was under Mourinho like that, but it was not the best return ever. Okay, so I think in a way, when Scholes is saying this, it's like where we conned. I think he's being like, maybe he's more concerned rather than calling them out, because his opening few games have been woeful. Like, he hasn't just been bad, like he's been absolutely woeful. You know, and that and it's not just him. I get it's not just him, and I get that you're saying, why aren't we talking about the defense? Why is he bringing up that? It's because over the past week, it's not like people have not been talking about that. That's been kind of hot news constantly. Harry Maguire, what's the story there? Who's going to play beside him now? And Luke Shaw, sorry for mentioning the swear word again. That like it's been mentioned in the press enough that I think we should talk about it. And the fact is, he was sent off as well. And like, no matter what you can say about Eric Lamela, he absolutely deserved to be sent off.
That's what we should be discussing. No, that is a real talking point. If you want to say, hey, what he did was dumb. Eric Lamela played him. He got played straight up. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Eric Lamela's a prick. He's a prick, but he played.
Absolutely, yes.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That is a discussion point. But to say he conned us into thinking he was number 9. Let's go back to his first season when everyone was shocked that we signed this player from Monaco. Like, why the hell are we investing this money? He starts as a number 9 for Van Gaal.
Yes,
does extremely well. It does extremely well. 17 goals, 7 assists his first season. Struggles, and then injuries happen. Mourinho comes in. Mourinho doesn't fancy him. Plays him on the left. He gets in a good run of form against under Mourinho. Alexis Sanchez comes in. He moves him straight to the bench. What the hell? So like we can say that he hasn't. There was a period in his Manchester United career where he didn't do a lot, but there's context to everything. There is context to everything. He was competing against Rashford for the left hand side and
for left hand point. Yeah, but like in the same point you're making there, okay, and Karthik, you touched on it too, was January we look to get Haaland, because you're like, Solskjaer didn't fancy Martial in January, and then you're under Mourinho, who definitely wasn't even appreciated whatsoever, and you have to wonder why it took so long for us to realise that for Martial, for it to click with Martial. Is it just because Fernandes came in, or is it a change of attitude, a change of everything, that the fact he's being looked at now as the number 9? And also, don't forget, like, my thoughts as well. Look, my main concern with Martial is his complete lack of consistency. It's the thing I find so frustrating. I think he's great on the ball. I think he's great when he's running at players and stuff like that. But I think when he drops his head, and I think it's a problem not just with him, it's a problem across the starting 11, that when the heads drop, they're gone. He's gone, I think. And it happens so much with our starting 11. That's why we have 2 patches of like the greatest runs we've had in Premier League under Solskjaer, when it's been like 16 games undefeated, whatever, and another 16 games, whatever it was, and however many games in a row when we're scoring 5+, is because when things are up, the players are amazing. Okay, when the mood is up, they feel confident they can do anything. But when the mood is down, we have too many players that are affected like that. When the mood is down, they're all down. And I think Martial is affected more so than anyone. And it's so clear in his body language when he's not having a good game. You know, and it's so hard for him to pull himself out. So I'm just wondering, okay, and you said as well, Temi, I'm throwing a lot of you guys now here now. But I remember when it looked like he was going to go, okay, in around January, I think under the Mourinho year, when it looked like he was going to go, can you guys remember the only club that looked at the interim? It was Spurs.
Was it?
Okay, it was Spurs.
I can't remember.
Yeah. But there was an offer put in. I don't.
Try selling him now.
Yeah, but I am saying though, like we're talking about potential. We're talking about how much was spent on him. But there's been very few times like he didn't get into the 2018 French squad. He's only got 1 goal for France, and Giroud's ahead.
But that's because they all love Giroud, though. That's the thing.
He is a very handsome man,
and he was
apparently.
he was playing. He didn't get into the France. He didn't get into that 2018 squad solely because of Jose Mourinho. It's that simple. I can hang my hat on that. There's no other reason. Now that he's playing as a number 9 consistently, first of all, I want to debunk this myth that he's not consistent. There was not one player outside of maybe Bruno's, half season that was more consistent than him last season. I dare you to find someone else. Maybe Aaron Wan-Bissaka for the first pre-lockdown. You can maybe make that argument. There is not one other player in that squad that was more consistent than him last season. Not one. Not one.
Temi, that actually depressed me that you said that, because I'm looking through the squad and that's like
23 goals in 12. I mean, honestly, I ask you two right now, Karthik and Joe, who was more consistent than him last season? And I'll if you want to say Bruno, I'll concede, but that was half a season. That was half a season.
But I would say Rashford, because especially with Rashford, like for that
after the injury,
but like prior to when he was actually playing for 6 weeks with that back injury, when he should not have been, that absolutely destroyed him. And I'm talking about more for effort, and so oh my God,
Maguire's been sent up.
Yeah, I'm just getting.
Oh my God!
This man he is trash. Oh my goodness! I'm not even watching the game. He is trash. He is trash.
Owen McCarthy, I know, is a Liverpool fan, so he is watching this with delight that we are getting frustrated by this.
He actually has as well.
Yeah. That is.
He is trash.
Okay. This is what I'm talking
about.
Sorry,
Mason Mount on the pitch.
This is from Reese. Morale is such a big factor in the team. It's a bit troublesome issue. The players are performing happy and perform brilliantly, but when low morale, they're uninterested, and that needs to change. And that does need to change. That does need to change. And I don't know what it is. It seems like Ollie is great at when the players are up and keeping them lifted. But it's like once the mood goes down. Like I remember the big one for me was the Chelsea game, the semi-final. When we were after going, however many games we were after going on a row, winning comfortably pretty much. Well, 1 or 2 dirty wins, but winning somewhat comfortably every game. And then he went back to 3 at the back. Because, do you remember? Yeah, because that's what bet Chelsea in Stamford Bridge a couple of months ago.
That's a tough one, because I was fuming with that game anyway because of why we rotated so many players.
Yes,
we never should have rotated that game.
Jacob, has Maguire got the ball, to be fair. Okay, so there we go. It was a legitimate. He
followed through.
The referee is out to get Man United. It's just out to get United. That's it. Try to hurt us. Or maybe he's a United fan and wants to get arrested for the weekend. But he's following that up with. But he followed through. Okay, that might be why he got sent off. And Rob, thank you. With Ollie is a great coach.
Ollie is a great coach.
Very insightful. Oh wait, yeah. Well, no, he's a great coach. Like we touched on already. Like,
how does he know this? Has he been to any training sessions?
Well, his second name is Ramos. Wait,
Joe.
no, his second name is Ramos, which means
Joe,
that he knows a lot of football.
Rob Ramos, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Name me one manager that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is better than in the top 10 in the Premier League right now. Name one.
You're gonna make us cry again, Temi.
Name one.
Look,
Name one.
Oh, sorry. He's put up with not a manager. He's a great coach, but not a manager. And I understand.
I would flip it.
I'd say the other way around.
I would literally say he's the first year in his reign. I'd say he did pretty well at keeping the players happy. He kept them. I mean, even when things were going bad, you could tell that like the players were fighting for him, even though there was no system. In my opinion, there was no plan of action. Coaching wise, oh my goodness, please spare me.
It's not a pod manager.
Yeah.
What's a pod manager?
What? I presume that it's not a pod manager.
What's a pod manager? A podcast manager. Oh well, if you want one of them, those available.
That
Hey,
is
Rob.
kind of me. Okay, Rob.
Rob,
Okay,
hey.
don't come taking my jobs.
Stay off the liquor, bro. It's Wednesday, bro. It's Wednesday, G. Come on, man.
But what do we think the issue is? Why is it that we go through these spell check, and you spelled spell wrong. Look, guys, we really shouldn't be making fun of people that are commenting. Like, we need to get as many of them in as possible. Rob, we really appreciate you commenting, and thank you so much. And we are terrible at spelling as well. It's just that we're not typing anything, so we can't get away with it. Okay, we really appreciate you commenting in, Rob. But like, why do we think it is that it takes that our when it's going bad, it seems to be so difficult to come out of it? You know, like it felt like when it came back last season for us was when we bought Bruno. When he came in, that lifted us. Like the new player came in and that lifted us. But like outside of that, it's I don't know what it is. Like I genuinely like it is a huge problem.
I do. But Karthik, go ahead.
You could say that Ole struggles to motivate his players. You could say that because he's good at. I think he's a very reactive manager. I think most of his good results have been when we've been the most under pressure. For example, I think it was the Burnley defeat in January, and then it was sort of, well, we could be saying bye to Ole at this point. And then that's when I think that's when our backs are against the wall, we seem to be fantastic at fighting back and then getting a run of results. When it's us expected to carry on a run or to start a run that, you know, assert dominance, let's go make another step forward, we seem to just be a bit, you know, it's not the same intensity. And I think that's a problem with any sports team. I think, you know, it's always easier to react when you're being put under pressure than it is when you're the one putting the pressure on. It's very easy to switch off in that scenario. And I think it's a challenge any coach, any manager has. It's maybe Ole is still unable to grasp how to do that properly, or whether it's other things at play, like maybe, you know, you hear these things with player selection and how, you know, sometimes you might get influence from up there about who to play, because it does happen. It does happen in football. You know, there could be a contract negotiation, and you know, your boss tells you can't play him this week because he's not signing a contract, and then you go, oh well, but then you play him anyway, and then all sorts of things. It just opens a can of worms. So I don't know. We don't know what happens behind the scenes, but from the outside looking in, it looks like we struggle when we are deemed the favourites. When we're the underdogs, we are fantastic. And as I said earlier, that's the case of any sport. It's always going to be a challenge. Yeah,
and that seems to be a problem for a long, long time as well. A long, long time.
Yeah.
But Temi, you said you are sitting confidently with the answer of why we. Go for it.
No, it's simple. I think that coaches in this league, once Ole makes an adjustment, they find out the adjustment, and Ole struggles to recover from that. We can break his career at United into small chunks. So the interim stage, obviously the players were depleted. They were done with Jose. They were done with being essentially just chained, playing park the bus football. Ole says, go out and have fun, boys. We go on an amazing run, play 4-3-3. Everyone's hustling. You know, everyone's looking good. He gets the job. Everyone figures out what he's going to do, right? Then we see the 4-0 versus Everton. The last two games against Cardiff and Huddersfield, I think we draw and then lose both. I can't remember. Forgive me. Then we make some signings in the summer. 4-0 against Chelsea. First game. But everyone, if you watch the game, if you remember very correctly, there was a lot of problems in that 4-0. That if you're a good coach, you're gonna see that and react. Oh wait, we should just chill against this team. If we give them space, they have two amazing forwards up front in Rashford and Martial that will burn us. If we just sit back, there's no cohesion, there's no pattern of play. They can't break us down. So every small team now knows that. Sit back, press them, they're in trouble. Those are the two things. Oh, excuse me, the sit back method. Now what teams are doing is they're pressing us. They're pressing us out because we want to play out from we started this whole thing of we're desperate to play out from the back no matter what. We're down 10 men playing out from the back. It doesn't matter. We're good enough. No. Now since the Southampton 2-2 last season, they gave the blueprint, right? They want to play out from the back. They think they have two good ball playing DMs in Matic and Pogba. They want to play out from the back. They think Harry Maguire is a good center back who can pass out from the back. He's not. We're going to press them and we're going to get them in trouble, right? That's the formula. Now Ollie, he has a couple new signings. Tellez is going to start whipping in balls in. It's going to be a new dimension, right? So we might see a little. His back is against the wall. We might see these new signings give a little bit of a boost. Then everyone's going to find us out again, and it's going to be the continual cycle of good for a couple months, bad for a really long time, good for a couple months, and we see the vision, bad for a couple months. And that's why the players are, it seems like they're not. When the morale is high that they're playing, it's there's reasons for that. It's a boost. Or the games we played really well, let's say, let me not even say play well. We sat back and counterattacked.
Yeah.
That Karthik was mentioning. Those are the games where, we can soak up pressure. Harry Maguire in the box, heading balls out of the box is pretty good. But if you ask him to, if you ask him to start playing football like he's PK, nah, that's not the wave. Ask him to play at the halfway line, not the wave. He's gonna get burned. So
yeah, I have a bit of good news. Donny scored. Yay! Harry Maguire sent off with our substitute midfielder scored.
Our new 40 million substitute.
Our club. He's doing great.
Our club captain got sent off. We're just thrilled.
Yeah. Thanks for keeping us updated in the comments, by the way, guys. I got on the Martial topic. Ben posted about the biggest concern with Martial is consistency, and guy Keith Pearce commented on it. Totally agree. 9 out of 10 games, he looks like he can't be arsed. He has one good game, and everyone goes mental. He will never be world class.
What?
Because Temi, you're so excited to answer. I think Karthik will let you go first.
Karthik, go ahead. No, facts. I'm sorry.
It's genuinely no. Let's not go there. I'm just not. I appreciate everyone has their opinion, but I'm sorry, but that opinion's wrong.
And Temi, I believe
you can't say he's not asked. You can't say that.
Yeah. I don't believe any, if you get to that stage in your career and you're still a young, hungry player, you're not in your mid-30s just going for a paycheck, I don't think that is any player is just not ours. I think that's just I think that is a lazy comment to make. But I think what he perceives as not being ours is that his head goes down and he looks, and his body type, his body shape it gets very frustrating because you look at him and his head is down and he's kind of hand to the side and he looks like he's blaming everyone.
Even that, what I'll say is last season we saw it at times towards December, November time where Martial did get a bit down and he was like, oh well, this team's shit. But let's not forget, I was at Old Trafford a few times in December and November. I try to go to as many games as I can, but the number of times I'd see Martial arguing with Andres Pereira off the ball, you might not even see it on the TV because they're not going to pan it to them two. The balls on the other end. But I've seen Martial and Pereira going at each other. Like Martial will fully walk up to Pereira and go, "What the fuck was that ball? You're not giving me any supply." So I can argue. Look at the difference between when Bruno came. That's not just because Bruno's a fantastic player or because Martial suddenly became asked. Yeah. Because he's got better teammates around to give him the ball.
Yeah. That is. What up, Abdel? Thanks for joining us. Yeah, look, I do understand that, but I just think what is going on? Are we going to put it down to the fact that there's been no preseason. Because the thing is, I think it's wrong to think. I do fully believe, okay, that, and it's only because it's not an article Scholes wrote, or it's not that we've seen him on BT discussing this or anything like that. He's been quoted saying it. That I don't think his intention is saying that he's fake. Yeah, we hope that he conned us. I think if the way I perceive that is him saying like, I hope he didn't con us. Do you know what I mean? But of course, that doesn't sell papers. That's what I'm hoping.
That could be that's a very likely thing you could say.
And that for me, like, I do have that concern, because it's only because when you look, and I know we're all United fans and we've watched it now, and we know more than the stats what they reach. You know what I mean? But you look at it and you go, first season 17 goals. That follows, I think, 10, 11, 5 in the Premier League, something along those lines, and then 17 again. So, like, if you're looking at those stats outside of anything else, you kind of go, and then you look at the start of the season, you go, this isn't looking good, you know? But I think the problem is that we can't single out Martial, because it is, and I was saying it on several times before, I think there is a huge problem with the mentality in the club. Because when we go throughout the whole team, and I know we said we focus on Martial in this, but I think we can't really just focus on Martial, because I think this is a squad-wide, a club-wide problem, is that with like the players like De Gea, players like Maguire, players like Fernandes and Martial, like these are all top-class players. I know we might have different reasons on where we put Harry Maguire number 4 on those lists of top-class players, but there's top-class players in the profession. What Maguire did last week was shambolic in every way. But it's, for me, and with De Gea, and with these guys, is that their heads aren't in the right place. If Bruno Fernandes if what we believe that it is true that he went into the change room, apparently it wasn't. Okay,
Romano said there wasn't.
Oh well, no, we can trust. In fairness, we can't trust him. But like, it's that kind of mentality of like, when they're down, they seem defeated, and like De Gea making the mistakes he has done, which is completely, I think, we've forgotten about, and he has conceded 11 goals in 3 games. Like, and I remember I put a tweet about this a couple of days ago. People were like, well, how many were his fault? And I was like, well, he should have saved more of them. Do you know, at the end of the day,
some of them you can say
you know, like Adrian conceded 7 for Liverpool the other week, and everyone kind of went, well, he's Adrian. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's a bad goalkeeper now, and you're kind of like, that's kind of a good out. But like De Gea conceding 11 in 3 games is not acceptable, and isn't. Do you know what I mean? So, like, basically, I'm going on a rant here about the mentality of the club, and is that the main issue? Do we think, or is that just an issue I'm having with it, or is the quality? Is what way are we looking at it here? Where do we go from here? Who wants to go first?
No, yeah, I mean, I'll be completely blunt. I just think that we're not getting the maximum amount of our players. It's that simple. Like, and I hate to say it, but I just don't think this coaching staff is getting the best out of these players. It's that simple. I don't think Pogba's playing in his right position. I think Bruno, when he first came in, when you come into a club, you want to keep it simple. You want to ingratiate yourself to your teammates. Now Bruno looks extremely undisciplined. I think that if you really look at our squad as a whole, if just breaking it down over the past 6 months, I think Martial and Bruno Fernandes are the only people we get value for money for in that squad, and that's a sad thing. I think Paul Pogba was worth £100 million, but we wouldn't sell him for that amount because of the way he's been used, the way we've been playing. I think the writing is on the wall. We're not getting the best out of these players. We should never, ever, ever lose to Crystal Palace 2 straight years at home. Like, I don't care what the excuse is. Like, you can blame the board. Like, you can blame the Glazers for being awful. You can blame Ed Woodward for being a terrible director of football or whatever the hell he wants to call himself. Chief executive of nothing. I don't know what he's terrible, right?
Yeah.
All of those things are mutually exclusive to what a coaching staff does on the training pitch every single day. And if you really if you break down last season, let me give you an example. I hate to bring them up. Liverpool, they score goals. They score identical goals. Like, they score goals and they look the same. Man City, score goals, and there's a similarity. There's a pattern to it.
Yeah.
Wolves score goals, and there's a pattern to it. There is in our team last year, almost every single goal came off the counterattack or individual brilliance or a defender's mistake. I can't really sit down and say, hey, outside of maybe that run post lockdown where we beat, what was it, Brighton, Sheffield, and who else was it, 3-0. We were just wiping the floor team. That's the only time I saw discipline in an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer team. That is the only time. Outside of that, there has not been discipline in this team, and that comes down to coaching. And I think the players are seeing it. I'm just going to be completely blunt. I think they're seeing that. Wait, how the hell is Everton? I mean, they're, mind you, James Rodriguez, great player. Abdoulaye Doucouré, very good player. Allen, very, very good player. They're not better. They're not one of them than Paul Pogba. Not one of them. You could argue maybe James is better than Bruno. You could argue that because of what he's done in the game. I would say he's probably better. But then it's just we have better players than them, but they are, you can tell that they are well drilled and they have a system that is working for them. And is coming off the right, coming in, making plays for other people and scoring goals. Right now, Bruno just looks like he's all over the place. He's just doing whatever he wants because he can, because there's no system, there's no structure in place. It's that simple. So I think that's the big problem right now is there is no tactical, there's no coaching in our side, and it's just that's the fact. It's a fact to me.
Yeah, guys, keep your comments coming in. We got a couple of good ones here from our South African/English friend Barry. It starts with "Hello, lads." That's my South African accent. Thank you very much for all agreeing with that being South African. His comment is, I agree with the comments about playing out from the back. We create so much pressure. Players lack the skill to do so. We covered that with Harry Maguire. But there's a comment here from Abdel, which is, I think we perceive this team is better than they are.
That's true. True. I think that's true. I think we do perceive them as maybe being better than what they are. Maybe we perceive Bruno as being better than what he is. Maybe we perceive Martial. Maybe I perceive Martial than better than what he is. I mean, I'm a fan at the end of the day, but I have my opinion. But I could be perceiving him as being better than what he is. What I do know for a fact is that Paul Pogba is better than James McCarthy and James MacArthur playing for Crystal Palace. I know that for a fact. I know Bruno is better than both of those midfielders. I know Matic is better than both of those midfielders. So this it's not like if we're losing to Chelsea every week, we're losing to City every week. We're going to face PSG. If we lose to PSG, we lost. I got to raise my hands. They got better players than us. They have better players.
We'll probably win that one now, you know.
Yeah. We might, and we just might, and that's a fact. We're going to sit back. We'll see. Like Neymar's playing though, so we're not. But anyway, that's besides the point. We're better than Crystal Palace. We're better than Brighton. So I don't want to. That's a cop out to me. Like, is Trossard and Connolly better than Martial and Rashford? Hell no.
Well, Aaron Connolly definitely is. Okay, he's a good Galway man, a good Irish brother, and he's the best in that position in the whole world. Yeah,
he's a good player. Yeah. He's a good player, but he's not better than Anthony Martial. Hell
okay,
no.
well, agree to disagree on that. But Karthik, you are a man for your tactics. Barry just sent in this. Midfield lacks cohesion. Too much space between them. I would like to see a four-man midfield diamond. What are your thoughts? How would that play with your football manager?
A midfield diamond. I won't reveal too much because there's a preview coming out tomorrow, and you'll hear my thoughts on that. I don't want it to. I don't like this turning into an Ole in, Ole out discussion because I'm sick of those.
No, that's
I don't want to talk about that. What I will say is there's so much at play. The one big thing that is looming, it shouldn't be, but it is a question now because of the state that we're in. You have to raise the question: is it because of a lack of a preseason? I know it's a cop out. I know it's one that you just go, but then, you're just giving me an excuse. We'll never know because we'll never know. It will be a question that is in our heads of, was it just because we didn't have a good preseason? Is it because it is so important? You look at Liverpool, the start that they've had. Did they have much of a preseason? They had somewhat of a preseason. City, the start that they've had, terrible start. Their preseason was next to nothing. So you have to. I mean, I know. Everyone's going to come at me going, "God, you're just making more excuses for Ole. This, that, and the other. Oh, you're just making excuses." But it is a question that you have to ask. I'm not saying it is because of that. I'm asking maybe it is. because it is a factor. It is so important for a preseason. I mean, obviously, from my coaching experience, I would never know how to go into a season without a preseason, because it makes no sense to me, because you just lack the fitness, and that includes match sharpness as well, fitness both physically and mentally. So you have to ask that question. I'm not trying to make excuses, but that is the case. As for
there's a comment there. You're making excuses, Karthik. So yeah,
he sounds like an idiot. He sounds like an idiot.
He looks handsome though. I'll give him that.
I bet he's a great actor.
Yeah. If only. Sorry, I cut you off with my hilarious joke. What were you saying, Karthik?
I don't know where I was going with that, to be honest.
No one did. No. What do you look?
Do we have to talk about football on this?
I don't think so. I really like. I think we talk about football a lot. What are you guys?
Ben, if we're watching this, football's depressing, mate. So we're just going to talk about what we want.
Like literally, there's nothing like positive about football, like related stuff at all at the moment. Like to do with United, it's all miserable. To do with Ireland, it's all miserable. Like every fan just wants to kill each other. Like it's turning into warfare. Like soon they'll be on the streets like with like guns or whatever, and they won't know what to do because they have no management. And it'll just
you won't be allowed outside.
We won't be allowed outside, so we can't even go outside to take out our frustration. We'll have to sit here and start doing podcasts.
Speaking of which, Temi, are you on lockdown?
Nah. It's pretty. There's obviously still a lot of protocols in place. Like you can go to restaurants and stuff, but it's only a certain amount of people can be in certain places. It depends on the state that you're in. Like every state has kind of different rules here, so I try to stay inside. Yeah, let's see. Fitness is the only problem if you don't let the ball do all the work. Dutch football philosophy. So Karthik, to your point about the fitness thing, like it is that's a legitimate thing. Like I would never. You can tell the players don't look fit. Like Paul Pogba does not, like he had COVID. He does not look like half the player that he is. You know what I mean? A lot of our players are playing in international circuits, right? Like that's another thing that could affect them. We had a very tough kind of rocky end to the season. The mentality might be off. Those are all valid, reasons to go off to a shaky start. But we didn't. I mean, the other teams didn't get that much of a preseason either. They might have gotten they might be a week ahead, right? I think a week or two ahead of us, 2 weeks max. I just feel like we just look so not disciplined. That's the issue. It's just like there's no discipline in our squad, and that's maybe. Go ahead.
But with this, okay, we look at the squad, and like Karthik was saying, like it comes down to fitness. It comes down to preseason. We didn't have one. That isn't good. That isn't like ideal in any scenario. It's not good. But like we have to kind of go, whose fault is this? Because we can't judge. I don't feel like we can judge Solskjaer, Klopp, Guardiola, Ancelotti properly at all at the moment, because we're all playing on different playing fields, basically. Like we're 2 weeks, one game preseason, and now they're on an international break. People are getting COVID. Like the whole world is fucked. You've teams like Everton haven't had a game in like 5 months or whatever before that, like or whatever ages before that. Like you have to and then across Europe it's the same thing. Like Bayern Munich won 8-0 one week and then lost 3-0 the following week. It's like we have to go to UEFA or FIFA or wherever it is we go to and be like, there needs to be something that should have been like, is it retrospective? Did it take a break now, or did you just see the season out? Because this could end a lot worse with a lot of players getting really bad injuries if something isn't done. Because if people aren't fit and they're expected to play these like high intensity games, like there's going to be issues. I don't know what. Yeah, sorry. Go on.
No, I'm following you, but if our players aren't fit, then why are they going to play for international? Like if Manchester United feels that, hey, none of our players are passing their fitness exams, these guys go through like pretty rigorous like exams every day to test if they are up to match fitness. You know what I'm saying? Outside of just their daily training. If Manchester United feels as if Paul Pogba's not fit to play 90 minutes, why did he just play 90 minutes against Portugal? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm just saying from a player's perspective, right? I'm just talking purely from a player's perspective. Like if they are that not fit, I just watched Pogba. He played really good the other day. He played really, really good. It would be one thing if all of them were Harry Maguire and getting sent off. That's not the case. a lot of them are playing pretty decent football. Like Rashford, I saw him play against who did you guys face this week?
Wales.
Yes, thank you. It was Wales. He looked really good. He looked really good. Tony in his brief cameo against Portugal looked fine. Like that's why I don't want to use the fitness thing too much because I'm watching them play for other teams, and they look. De Gea made an awful mistake yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I did,
awful
but
mistake.
I actually, because I was curious to see people's thoughts on it, and I put it up on the Twitter, and it was kind of like a lot of people blamed the defense, but that seemed to be De Gea's get out of jail free card for a while now. That it seemed to be the defense's fault. Like I just on the De Gea thing, okay? I think there should be more of a discussion for getting Henderson in because De Gea, like we've already said it, 11 goals conceded in 3 games is nowhere near good enough. Abdul, by the way, you're lying. Pogba is not average. He's not average. He's average at the best of times.
Oh dear.
Sorry, I'm not going to go into the De Gea thing again because I do fully respect De Gea.
It's a fair call out. It's a fair call out.
But like, it's just like it's kind of like, do you know where you feel like something is definitely going to happen eventually, but we just have to see how many mistakes have to happen first before they get pulled out. Just because what he did for us before, you know, and unfortunately,
I think Dino will have more games than David by the end of the season.
I hope so.
Yeah. There's not many people that is a bigger De Gea fan than me, but I've been defending him for. I don't think any of these past goals in these last couple games have been his fault. Just personally, I don't think that there was not one. Human Son, Harry Kane, whipping balls in your face. Pause. That could be a problem.
Okay.
Get that on the Twitter now. Quote it, post it now. Human Son and Harry Kane whipping balls in your face. What do you expect?
Yeah.
Of course he's not going to save it.
That is funny.
That, in fairness, that would be quite distracting.
That is funny. Yeah. That is hilarious. But you get my point. I don't think he was that fault for it. But does Henderson deserve? I think if there's a big shift in these next couple of months, I just think Ollie's kind of scared to drop his big players. Like, let's just call it spade a spade. Like, he's not going to drop Pogba. He's not going to drop Bruno if he feels like they're not playing up to speed. He's not going to drop Maguire. I imagine if we play the same back four that we played against Spurs, the same exact 4 players, that's a sign of weakness to me. Like, you cannot replicate, or the back 5. If you feel like, I don't think De Gea made any mistakes against Spurs, but if you feel like, hey, we just need a calmer head back there. Maybe Maguire and Bailly felt a little uncertain.
Bailly was shocking.
Bailly was
awful. I told you, Joe. What did I tell you? About?
I know.
I've been telling Joe about Harry Maguire since I've known him.
Let's get Marcus Rojo back in.
So what?
Like, he's
free Rojo.
Yeah, I think Rojo is a different level of like lunatic. I think like. If we just want to go for like, if we're sick of this depressing drama,
I'm going to raise a very valid point here. Okay,
that'd be a first.
We all say that Eric Bailly and Marcus Rojo are complete psychopaths, don't we? Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
Yeah, absolutely.
However, when we paired the two of them, do you remember how much of a good pair they were? Do you remember that run of 5 games where we had Chelsea, someone else in there, and we kept clean sheets in 2 out of 3 of those?
I think Eric Bailly was the big reason for that because he was playing literally out of his mind. Like there was a period where Eric Bailly, when he first came in, where he looked like he was going to be.
No, yeah.
He looked like he was going to be unstoppable. Yeah, and obviously he's not good enough.
The injuries.
He can't stay healthy.
I'd just like to clarify, I don't actually want Marcus Rojo to start.
No, he does.
Bring my boy Lindelof back. Bring my boy Lindelof back in.
Axel Tuanzebe.
Oh, look, you're very blaming me for that now. Rojo. Heineken. That was
I didn't know my Irish accent was that good.
But Barry makes a point here. I remember when Schmeichel went through a bad spell. By the way, Karthik, you definitely don't, because like I knew. I'm sure they've heard us, Michael, but like we're all quite young when that happened.
Or
Fergie
play
sent
to
him
his
on holiday.
strengths.
Yeah, went on holidays to recruit. Maybe Ollie should do the same with De Gea. I was saying this before. I think it's if we're going to pick one player to put out of the squad, for me it would be Harry Maguire, and not because of that. I still think he's a very, very good centre half, despite what other people think. I just think he needs a break from the limelight. Maybe not go to Greece for a while. You know, maybe go to Antarctica and swim with the penguins.
Harry, mate, anywhere else, just not Greece.
Anywhere but Greece. You know, anywhere but Greece. But I think I get what he's saying about De Gea. I just think it's if I had to pick one player to do that for me, it would be Harry Maguire. To give him a break from football, break from everything, and go away, it would be him.
Bring my guy.
Needs a shout.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. First of all, Axel played really, really well in his very brief stint last season. Then he made the mistake at Arsenal. I mean, he was the man of the match. Remember that game? Remember the Arsenal game where he made the mistake? He was literally the man of the match before he made that mistake.
Yeah.
And then he gets hurt.
And he was playing out of position. He was
playing left back. He was playing left back. Out of position. He absolutely unreal. I think he needs. Oh yeah.
I'm a better left back than Luke Shaw.
Yeah, he's a better left back than Luke Shaw for sure. For sure. That's not saying much. But I think Axel. I told you I want my guy Lindelof back in there. I know you guys think everyone thinks I'm crazy when I say it. I told you I think he's the best center back at the club. I'll keep saying it until I go black and blue. Until I go black and blue.
Tell you what, I'll roll with that if Axel's alongside him because I think that could work.
Yeah. No, everyone keeps.
We know that's not going to happen.
Yeah, everyone keeps saying who are we going to find to partner Maguire? Please spare me. Please spare me. There will never be a good enough partner for Harry Maguire. We could have Van Dijk next to him. I'm convinced at this point it would just be like we would still be getting mistakes out of him.
That would be some pairing, by the way.
I think that'd be very nice. Actually, I wouldn't mind. I think that would actually,
put me next to Van Dijk and we still might be a top 10 defense in the league.
If Liverpool get to the Champions League final and win the Premier League with Dejan Lovren as a centre back alongside Van Dijk, there literally anyone can be beside him.
Yeah, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I even last year when everyone was hyping him up, I'm sorry, I didn't see it. I did not see it. I was saying Lindelof was better even last season. Do you remember what the sorry to cut you off. Do you remember what the conversation was post signing Maguire? It was we were calling Victor Lindelof Iceman. Everyone forget. We were calling him Iceman. We were saying he's the truth, right? Then we said we're gonna buy a center back to pair with Victor Lindelof. We buy Harry Maguire, 80 million pounds. This is it. This is the center back to partner with Harry Maguire, or excuse me, Victor Lindelof. Now we're talking about spending another how many damn million pounds to partner a guy who's just not good enough.
But
he's just not good enough.
But we have to look at the facts. Like when he came, from before he was there to when he came, we conceded far less goals. We were third best defense in the league. We didn't look like that. We looked shaky. We didn't look amazing.
Yeah, but it definitely in that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Across the back line, it all improved. But then you're looking at that same back line that had the defense against Spurs. And if you have to look at it and go, his head is gone. And the same thing I was saying about De Gea for a while. Since De Gea didn't, whatever about his move to Real Madrid didn't happen the first time. After the World Cup in 2018, that was supposed to be after that. I guarantee it was penned that he was going to go to Madrid after that. After he made a holy show in that tournament, he's just been gone. He's been a shadow of the player he was because he knows that dream move will never happen for him. You know, like we'd love to say that his dream is always stay United and play the best football ever, but like when you're from Madrid and you're Spanish number one, you have to play for either Barcelona or Real Madrid. So like I think that has kind of always been his goal. And then when that didn't happen, especially after he made a holy show of himself, I think
pull up that Reece comment right now.
Okay.
5 years from now, that'll be the pairing. 5 years from now.
Okay. Wait, 5 years from now, it'll be play Axel and Mendy until we get up in Meccano.
Well, not until we get up in Meccano.
Okay.
I can't have a 22-year-old and an 18-year-old starting for center back.
Not now.
Yeah. In the future, though, maybe
to round us up wonderfully. on this retrospective on Anthony Martial, which lasted a solid 18 seconds.
Because we just rubbished it.
Yeah, it was just like, it's gone. But we discussed this before a couple of weeks ago. And guys, just have your final thoughts in the comments as well on Martial. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video as well. What is his future? Okay, because if you're saying that we know the Martial that we're going to have now, he's 24 years old, it's time for him to kick on, hasn't started the season well. What happens from here on out? Okay, where do we think Martial will be 3 years time when he should be able to speak?
Go on, Temi.
Go on, Temi. Take it away.
I was gonna say. Oh, sorry, I thought Karthik was about to say something. My bad. But no, I think in 2 years he'll be a United player. I really do. He's had a bad start to the season. There's no. Yeah. I've called it out on my channel previously. Like I was hard on him for the red card. I was really harsh on him for that red card. He shouldn't have happened. He is an excellent player. If we ever sold him, we would be crying the next season about what Yes, I love it. Martial, you already know it's good. Good.
Sorry, there should be a hashtag around that. Yeah, just as long as we don't have to look at you, Karthik, it's fine for us. Jacob has different ideas. Back in France.
Yeah, winning the World Cup.
For PSG, maybe. Sure. Yeah. I mean, if he leaves us, he's gonna go to a top club and play. That is a fact. That is an absolute fact. And we'll be all sick.
Yeah. I'm going to pass this one on to you, Karthik. This is Barry's latest comment. In 3 years, Martial will be playing wide left for United under a different coach. Okay, that sets up a lot of problems if that is the case. So how are we going with that?
Why are we going? No, let's please not go backwards, please. No. Also, do you know how damaging it is for a player to positionally change? It's the most difficult thing to do. Let's just not do that. But no, I think he will. I think he will be our number 9 for about 3 years until Mason Greenwood makes that transition, and then it'll be Martial and Greenwood rotating in and out.
Yeah, and hopefully Greenwood is at the position where he can usurp him. I suppose I get the closing comment because I am the best. But okay, thanks for agreeing with me. All right, you humpy fucks here. I am not as sold on Martial as you guys are. I think when he's at his best, he is phenomenal. I know Ben gets a hard on every time he runs at a defender because he says he's the best.
I set him up for that comment, by the way. I set him up for that comment. So
it's your fault.
No one ever remembers that, which I'm glad about. But, you know.
Yeah. Now we're gonna remember it. But I am sold on him. I would be slightly more in the Scholes camp of like, are we being conned? But I wouldn't ever say that phrase. I'm waiting for it to be a couple of years of consistently getting in around the 20 goal mark. And then after that, I'll be like, cool. You've done it. You've proved me not.
Oh dear.
I disagree with Karthik. You cannot have a number 9 not aggressive enough.
But what does aggressive mean? We'll be here for another hour.
Hold on. Eric Lamela found out the other week that he was pretty aggressive. Yeah. Boom. Okay, guys.
United is shit, so let's all just find.
Yeah, let's all lie down in a corner and cry.
Oh, come watch Paddock. Come watch Paddock. Anyone in Manchester? Come watch Paddock. Paddock FC.
Oh. Yeah, please say the full title because there's also a rival Man United YouTube channel with Paddock.
I meant the football club. Come watch the football club. The football club.
I was like, this is a great end to our first podcast.
What's the football club? What's the football?
The football club, not the channel. This is your only Man United channel. Okay, guys. Big shout out, Temi. You got anything you want to plug?
No, yeah, just make sure you guys follow me on Twitter if you don't right now at Temi Talks United. You see it on the screen. And subscribe to my YouTube channel when you get the chance as well too. Just search Temi Talks United, and you'll see me there.
Karthik, for yourself?
My Twitter and come follow my YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel because I've got a couple of changes coming there. Nothing big.
Oh, good. Yeah. Very nice. Joe O'Neill, Acting Joe. Find me on Twitter on that. Joe, you're on way on Instagram. Joe O'Neill on YouTube. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm great crack on it. And we'll be here every single Wednesday, mostly from 10 o'clock. This is the only night we're doing at 8 o'clock. So please come back and join us, and make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video. There's so much content coming up this week that you'll be completely entertained if you win, or completely depressed if we lose. But we'll all be depressed together.
Exactly.
Together. As a family. And Reese, thank you very much. Great video, lads. We appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys, for checking us out. And please come back next week. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.